and welcome. This is the Texas Live, and I am Shane Moore, and I welcome you to tonight's episode. I'll be talking and explaining a very sensitive topic that I've been talking about, been doing shows on, been doing episodes on, and I continue to do so. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. I just feel this need for it, and I've talked with several other people, many other people actually, online and friends, and they had no idea. They had no idea the what was going on and to what extent, to how bad it is. And when I say bad, it is beyond bad. Please, I will be explaining in detail how this group that follows the Talmud, those who call themselves Jews, but they're not. It's a deception. They call themselves Jews. They are in leadership in the state of Israel, which, by the way, that is not. It is the biggest deception in the world, and you have heard politicians such as George H.W. Bush. You've heard of people talk about the New World Order, the NWO, the Order of the Ages, the Great Work, all of these esoteric terms and everything. You've heard all of that. Those of you that have, please chime in. Those of you that are listening, please take part in the live chat. If you know what I'm talking about, please, even if you have to go by a pseudonym, use a fictitious name if you're afraid to use your real name. Many are. Take part in the live chat, because I want to compare notes. Because what I'm going to say tonight, and names I'm going to name, the connections with certain people, well-known people, companies, organizations, families, some of the most beloved people that you know, some of the most famous people that you know, and just adore in Hollywood, religious leaders, actors, the list goes on and on and on. Philanthropists, yes. And then I'll also name those who were absolutely against what was going on, and they knew it. They knew the truth. Famous people, very intelligent people. They said, this is not what you think it is. These people are not who they say they are. They are the ultimate deception. They have no conscience, and they kill, they murder with impunity. They have no conscience. They don't care. If you are not of their race, their superior race, you are lower than cattle. You're lower than a dog, which I happen to think dogs are awesome. So, but it's been said by some of the former Israeli, by one of the former Israeli prime ministers that, by the way, ruled, he was in charge of the entire country of Israel. He said that the fingernail, one fingernail of a Jew was worth more than a Gentile life, a goyim life, the life of a human animal, a human cattle, which is what they view you and me. And trust me, these people, such as Benjamin Netanyahu, the one who's in charge of this group, and make no mistake, he is in charge. When he shakes hands with these, Christian Zionists, these Christian evangelical Zionists, and he smiles and, they're friends, and he tells them how much he appreciates them and everything, they're complete idiots. They're complete idiots. Because guess what? He literally hates them. Hey, Nazreen, glad you joined us. Me. I think I've got a mouse in my pocket. I hope you're doing well, and thank you for being here for this. This is just, this is something that I keep learning more and more about, and the rabbit hole just gets deeper and deeper, and it just gets more and more sickening and more outrageous. How the world has since I guess thousands of years, have just turned their since 1917, maybe a little bit before 1900, it is really gotten bad. As far as the world turning a blind eye to what these people do. When I say people, I'm talking about these scumbags. When you murder men, women, and children, when you execute for no reason, just because you view them as cockroaches, you view them as, well, they would be better off not being in this world, and you happen to have the power, to shoot them, and I'm talking about the Israeli soldiers that maybe they're bored, maybe they're having a bad day or whatever, and they decide to just take pot shots at the heads and chest of little Palestinian boys, little Palestinian girls. And I have read, and I will read later, where the United Nations, they have repeatedly and recently, they have really a lot of evidence of crimes against humanity, war crimes of Israel against the Palestinians, and some of it I can't even share because it is so horrible. I mean, these people have suffered so much, and they have been treated so cruelly. And I know that there's those of you out there that are probably saying, well, now they have, they've attacked Israel, let me ask you something. Let me just ask you, think about this. When you have, if you had a country, size of Israel, and you felt like you had a country like, or a people like the Palestinians. Okay. And you are armed to the gills. Not with just conventional weapons, but you've got nuclear weapons. And don't think for one minute that Israel does not have nuclear weapons. They are stockpiled with nuclear weapons. And there again, no other Middle Eastern country is allowed to have nuclear weapons. But Israel does. It's just not talked about. It's swept under the rug. What's good for Israel isn't good for everybody else. Makes you wonder who's really running things. Who's in charge? And I love the United States. I'm an American, but who the hell made the United States who deputized the United States as being the global sheriff? I mean, really. It's just, it's amazing. The way I see it is what is good for one country is, should be good for all countries. And keep in mind, these are the people that in their book, in their quote-unquote holy book, the Talmud, it is stated that they are to hold the Gentiles, the non-Jews, in the highest contempt. And if if a non-Jewish person is dying, they are not to help that person. They are to let them die. They're not to offer any aid. They're just, no, don't. And if they murder, if they kill a Gentile, it is not a crime. Which is why that the Israeli soldiers that shoot little Palestinian children in the head and blow their brains out. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I have seen the pictures, I've seen the photographs, I've seen the video. Yes. But people say, oh, well, that's so horrible. It makes me sad. So I'm going to go and turn on my TV and watch, whatever. Watch happy. No, that's not the thing to do. You are escaping. You're being a coward. And many people are scared to speak up and speak out and speak against this. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Who wouldn't be scared? Well, unless you're like me, I'm not insane. I like to say I'm insane, which is on a completely different level. So, I might be insane, but I'll tell you what. I'll tell you one damn thing. I will stand for truth, and I will stand against any oppressor, no matter what. for the downtrodden, for the innocent who cannot defend themselves or will not speak out because they're afraid to. I guess in short, I can't stand bullies. Whether it be an individual or whether it be a country or whatever. I can't stand bullies. And that's exactly what takes place in Palestine. Yeah, Palestine. Okay, the very name, Palestine, and it's still called that. But no. It's Israel, right? Because the Israelis, they're God's chosen people. Again, says who? God's chosen people? What God? I'm not saying there's not a God. I'm just saying what God. Because reading the Talmud, it's pretty clear what God is their God. It's not the God of love and light. It's the God of pure evil. People say, well, evil's relative. No, it's not. No, it's not. Shut your mouth. Stop that psychological, everything's relative, No, it's not. No, it's not. When any sacred holy book that people follow and people are fanatical about, that says that having sex with a 3-year-old little girl is fine because she's not going to remember it anyway when she's grown, when she gets older. Yeah, that's evil. When it says that a grown man can have sex with a little boy, that's evil. Because it's okay because again, he's not going to remember it, and I just want to ask, what the deal is with the with your Noahide laws that you have, shall not commit sexual immorality. Yet your very sacred text promotes having sex with 3-year-old girls and sex with little boys, and says that it's okay for to have sex with animals. I'm sorry, but I'm telling you the truth, and I will read what book they hold in higher regard as being more sacred than the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, the books of Moses. Yeah, the Talmud is what they follow, what they live by, and it's really unsettling when you start to find out who are the Talmudic so-called Jews. Who are they? And it's really shocking because, like I said, they say it's completely fine to steal, as long as you steal from a Gentile. You can take whatever they have. You can murder a Gentile. Yeah. And it's not a crime. Matter of fact, you're just cleaning. You're just taking out the garbage because that's what they are. That's how they look at it. You're just taking out the garbage. That's what they are. Okay. They have names for the non-Jewish people, or the non-Jews, the non-Talmudic Jews. And those names include goyim, cattle, and they for you Christians, for you super spiritual Christians that oh, you're all about Israel. And I see people driving down the road and they have these stickers, these bumper stickers and these stickers in their window. I support Israel. And I'm like, you dumbass. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I'm like, you dumbass. Come on. You obviously have watched way too much mainstream media. You have watched too much Schindler's List, which I'm not making fun of that. I'm just saying that you'll never see Steven Spielberg make a movie about the 100 million true Jewish people that were executed in Russia when the Russian Tsar was killed, was executed with his family. The Bolshevik Revolution. When did it take place? What year? 1917. What year was the Balfour Declaration signed? Let me guess. 1917? Correct. The Balfour Declaration was signed by Lord Rothschild. Okay, and it was a very short declaration that said that Israel, that the quote unquote Jewish people would have their own homeland. Okay, but get this. Do you know, the truth is that Palestine was not the only place. Palestine was not the only place that was on the table to be taken over and be, whoa, Israel's homeland. And once again, I just want to make this disclaimer. If I get cut off, if they cut me off, and this podcast, my show disappears, just know it's proof. What I'm telling you is the truth. Because they've done it to others, and I believe it's just a matter of time before they do it to me. I don't know, and to be honest with you, I don't care. That would just propel me and empower me, because I know that I am getting truth out there. And but there were places. One place was Ethiopia. One place was Kenya. Land in Kenya that they were going to move or settle in, but and those, I think there were like six or seven places, and it's been said that there was that Texas was even considered, and I'm thinking, yeah. Number one, I'm not bragging or anything, but you bring that Talmudic, you're going to be my slave, you're going to lick my feet because I'm superior to you. bring that to Texas, and there's plenty of Texans here. Never forget, we didn't fare so well at the Alamo, but it's pretty unfair fight. But anyway, pull that here, that you're going to be my slave because I'm superior to you, and you'll be looking for the best proctologist to remove a Texas boot out of your gluteus maximus, and your cerebral cortex will get a whole new revelation that you are not superior to anyone. And hopefully, after you get the boot removed and cleaned and returned to its owner, you can be friends, But I doubt that you would even consider that. But, too bad that you didn't pull that, here. Because guess what? As for me and a lot of people that I know, personal friends that I happen to, Nazarene, I'm dying laughing here. I am speaking truth. I have a lot of friends that, you know what? They don't view anybody as being superior. And I'll tell you what, take the smallest guy and they would whop your ass, okay? And you would deserve it. I don't give a damn who you are. With all that superiority and we're the superior race. Really? Huh. How can you be when you're on your back? When you're out cold? Yeah. Am I for violence? No. Am I for imparting old school knowledge? Hell yes. Do I enjoy it? Yes. No. Yes, I really do. No, I don't. I have to admit, yes, I do. Do I hate you? No, I don't. Then why would I kick your ass? Because I care about you. And it would be better me kicking your ass or you getting your ass kicked than somebody killing you, which is what would happen. You pull that here. Well, we're superior and you're breaking certain laws that we hold dear, so we're going to have to kill you. Oh, man, no. Not here in Texas. You see, we have things called pistols and shotguns and rifles, and hey, this is a wild, wild west. Mr. Zionist, Mr. Talmud, whatever. Give a damn. Don't do. Be careful. Be careful. Yeah, you can do that in Palestine because, or you can do that to the Palestinians because what? You've disarmed them. You've taken everything they have away. Big, brave, yeah. So I just admire you because, man, that takes a lot of courage to take your tanks and bulldoze their homes just so you can laugh at them and that's what happens, people. That's what happens. Those of you that are listening, that's what happens. You cannot imagine the cruelty. They illegally go into basically what they have pushed these people. They push these people out of their land, which was promised to them in the Balfour Declaration that the Israelis, the so-called Jewish people, would live with the Palestinians side by side, But Balfour Declaration was a lie. And that's what you will find when you start really looking into this, is it is nothing but smoke and mirrors and lies. What happened is in 1948, Dorothy Rothschild purchased the land in Palestine. There again, Palestine, whose land was it? Well, you do the math. It was called Palestine. And why was it, why were the Palestinians living there? Well, that was their homeland, too. So, but these people come in and they say, okay, yes, prophecy's being fulfilled. And I've heard Christian evangelicals say, oh, Bob, remember that day? And I'm like, no, you don't. You've got dementia already. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You're so excited about this, and you remember the day that the Israeli army, soldiers went house to house and massacred the Palestinians. It's like they made them an offer they couldn't refuse, and you're all joyous about it. You've got dementia, or you're just one cruel, sadistic, ignorant, just, even thinking about you, get away from me. It'd be the best thing for you. I can't stand you. Yeah. Prophecy fulfilled? God's will? Really? So you're telling me that it was that God said that God, was up in heaven cutting the rug, doing a tap dance as these Irgun Israeli soldiers of the likes of Menachem Begin, who later became Israeli prime minister. Yeah, very cruel bastard. I mean, really, really. He's the one that said that it is our destiny to rule the world and the inferior peoples, and we will dominate the world, and the goyim, the non-Jews, will lick our feet. Dude, what is your problem? When I read that, I puked a little bit. I'm like, okay, I have a choice. Lick Menachem Begin's nasty feet, or spend 3 days in the electric chair on high. My reply would be, where do I plug the damn chair in at? Because that's my choice. Yeah. I'm not licking your damn feet. It's just not going to happen. So what, and plus, what's wrong with you, man? I mean, well, besides you're dead. I'm sorry. I'm just, if they can give it like they do all the time, and with, Benjamin Netanyahu, when they're asking him, well, why was the little Palestinian boy shot in the chest? Why was it a kill shot? And you see this evil bastard grin. He just grins with this, and the bullets they use, the shells, some of them are not like regular shells. They go in, they explode, and they exit. It's like they go in very small, they come out like a cannonball. Okay? So, little boy is climbing the wall, and 12 years old. Okay, and they shoot him in the chest, or they shoot him in the head. Blow his blow him in half, basically. Blow his back out. Intestines, internal organs. Well, they blow his head off. His brains are all over the place. Literally. And they're asking Netanyahu about this, the prime minister. And he grins, and it's like he's trying to keep from laughing. And then his reply to what I'm talking about is he said, no. He said, they said, why can't you use rubber bullets or sandbags or something? He says, because he says, we have to send the message. We have to make an example. And they said, well, aren't you sorry? Do you regret that? He says, my only regret was it was just one killed. And he grinned again. And I'm like, oh. I would love to be the author of your next grin being toothless while you're waiting for your dentures to be made. Just because you're sick in the head, just because you're so sadistic, just because because you're so racist, and if anybody says anything about you or your country or your nationality, they're anti-Semitic. And they're labeled as such, just like if they're a damn pedophile or something. Yeah, when you're labeled anti-Semitic, why do you think that is? Why do you think that follows you around, that you are labeled for the rest of your life? That is so no one will listen to you. Okay. He's anti-Semitic. He's probably a member of the KKK. Don't listen to him. And you know what? I have to give him credit. It's very effective. It works very well. Am I a member of the KKK? Hell no. Do I hate? Do I look down? Do I consider myself superior to blacks, to African Americans, to Mexicans, to anybody of any other color or race, creed, nationality? No, I don't. That's basically redneck theology, and I am not a fan of that. Do I view myself as superior to redneck theology or the good old boy network theology? This white supremacy? No, I don't. I am against that. I hate that. I hate any group, any people that view themselves as being superior to anyone. So, yeah, that's, you treat me with respect, you be my friend, I will treat you in like manner. Absolutely. But this must stop. This has to stop. It is not just for the sake of the Palestinians, not just for the sake of the Egyptians and the Jordanians and Saudi Arabians and the Iraqis and the Iranians. And this is something too, is John Hagee, who is probably the most rabid, the most powerful, the biggest proponent as far as promulgating and spreading the propaganda of Zionism. And when I say biggest, I'm not just talking about as far as his work in Zionism. Yeah. John Hagee. Look him up. I believe he's like 81 now. And for the last 60 years, he has been, his website says he's been spreading the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ. And I'm like, really? Because it seems to me like you've been spreading the word of Zionism. You've been spreading the propaganda. You've been promoting the very people that the Bible clearly states had Jesus crucified and executed, tortured, beaten, spit on, humiliated, and you're promoting this? Yeah. Your claims of, I'm a sixth generation minister of God. No, you're a minister of hell is what you are. That's what you are. And plus, you're an ignorant minister of hell. Well, I mean, yeah, nobody's going to believe you're, anyway, go eat some tacos or something. Go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, and I'll see you next month. Anyway, John Hagee promotes and loves the quote-unquote the Jewish people. Now, when I say Jewish people, I'm not talking about those that are tolerant of other people, other beliefs. I'm talking about those that, like Benjamin Netanyahu, those who are of the Chabad Lubavitch Hasidic sect. Some call it the Doomsday sect because they believe that if they start World War III or some world calamity, that their Messiah will finally return, and then they will be able to rule the world, and everybody be their slaves. Yeah, it's a real dream. It's just, the only thing is it's just, I just don't see it happening. So sorry there about that, but that's a dream. And hopefully when people wake up and they start, they're not afraid to speak out about this, that'll be your alarm clock. Just ruin your dream, which is what I would love to do, is just see your dream of world domination and enforcing your laws on everyone else when you yourself are committing everything against. You are breaking your own laws because that's what the Talmud teaches. But for anybody else, which we don't have sex with animals, we're not pedophiles with little girls or little boys, and we don't eat limbs torn from live animals, or we don't eat animals while they're alive. I don't know where the hell you come from, but we don't do that, in the real world. So, you punishing anyone that breaks your 7 Noahide laws, because they come from Noah, right? After the flood, they came from Noah, right? Because you were there. Yeah, Noah gave them to you. Okay, Yeah. And, well, came through Noah's 3 sons, right? One thing that I find very, very interesting, fascinating in fact, is that we are all human beings, correct? I mean, you have one of these Khazarians, one of these Jews, Khazarian Jews, fake Jews, false Jews, lying Jews, stealing Jews, murderous Jews, Jews bent on genocide. I'm not talking about the true Jews, those that are against Netanyahu, against the current Israeli government, against those in control since 1948, those that took Palestine, the land of Palestine, by force, murdering and pushing a people out of their homeland into a concentration camp, and even goes into Gaza, into the West Bank, into the settlements with their bulldozers and just tear their house down. For what? Just to keep them afraid, keep them in line. And it's so bad that sometimes there have been reports that that there will be a Palestinian mother or wife that will be raped in front of her husband and her children, and the reason is so the husband will be broken, the wife will be broken, and the children will always remember who's in charge. That's sick. And there is no punishment. There is no punishment that is good enough for you, that do things like that. But you know what? I'd love to give it a hell of a shot. I would love to be the one called on to administer your punishment for doing things like that. Yeah, I'm very imaginative, and do you need to be punished? Do you need to pay for that? Oh, because that's destroying everything. I mean, and that's what they do. That's their purpose. That's their plan. That's what they do. And people say, well, they're thinking, well, as long as it's there, it's not happening here, I'm fine. Guess what? They're planning on, trust me, they're planning on it being here. As a matter of fact, it's already here in the United States. It just hasn't been made public yet. And I'm going to talk about that when I come back in 3 minutes, so please don't go anywhere, and buckle your seatbelt, because we're going to have a hell of a ride. So be back in 3 minutes.
The sky so far, but I can't lose it.
And I'm back. Okay, I just now posted the Spreaker site online, where if you like the show and what the show's about, what it stands for, then please follow me on Spreaker. Hit the like button, and also I'm going to post my email, so you can contact me if you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to share something on the show. Maybe your own personal experience. There are I know people, people that are Palestinians. One man is just a very, very great man that I love, that was 13 years old at the time, and his parents, along with himself and family, were forced out of their home, and he has no hatred or anything. He has lived a life of peace, and I love and respect him very, very much. So that's saying a lot. I mean, it really is. When you can have someone that has been, has been treated like that, mistreated so bad, and they're just, full of love and peace, and that's what they want to promote. That's what they want to share. They're heroes. I mean, really. But some things I want to talk about as far as the Talmud, and the Chabad Lubavitch Hasidic sect of Judaism, referred to as the Doomsday sect. Their rabbi was Rabbi Mendel Schneerson, born in 1902, I believe, and died in 1994. Was a very, very powerful rabbi in Brooklyn. And since I've started doing these shows on Chabad Lubavitch, the Chabad Lubavitchers, Jewish sect, guess what? I have listeners now in Brooklyn. So if any of you are listening to me talk about your beliefs and what you're about, just continue listening. I love it. Okay. They say, the Jews say, these Jews, certain people, they say they honor righteous Gentiles. people that aren't of their nationality, of their superior race, but they do good, and so they honor them. But righteous Gentiles, they're not talking about people that do good for other people regardless of their race, their nationality, color, creed, whatever. They're talking about only those who are righteous towards them and promote their agendas and do their work that benefits them. I don't care if you opened a hospital for children, dying children, or children with cancer or whatever. No, you're worthless. But if you promote them and help them to gain sympathy. Yes, they want people to feel sorry for them because they're victims. They're persecuted. Really. How can you be persecuted when you're surrounded by a huge wall that keeps people out? And trust me, if you see this wall, most of it, it would be damn near impossible to climb over it because it's built in such a way that you would have to be Spider-Man to get over this, because there's an overhang to where you would have to defy gravity or have, suction cups on your fingertips or your hands to hang upside down, and then even then it would be a nightmare trying to get over the wall. And again, you're armed to the gill with conventional weapons and nuclear weapons, provided by who? Guess. United States. United States. Why? Why is that? Why is it that every senator, every congressman, congresswoman, before they become a congressman, congresswoman, senator, when they take their oath into office, they also have to take an oath of loyalty to Israel? Why is that? What's going on? I mean, what is really going on? And any American citizen that's okay with that, there's something wrong with you. And you say, well, it's okay if it's Israel. No, it's not okay. Because there again, things are not what they seem. And if you were dying, they would let you die. These people that I'm talking about, these people like Netanyahu, these people like Ariel Sharon, former Israeli prime ministers, Ariel Sharon, Menachem Begin, Yitzhak Rabin. These men, monsters, bullies, they were. Menachem Begin was part of the Irgun, and what was that? Was a terrorist group. And they were experts. He bragged about being not only the father of terrorism in the Middle East, but the father of terrorism in the world. And why did they call him the father of terrorism in the Middle East or the world? Because basically a genius. I mean, when it's deception. And what was the deception? How did they deceive? Well, pretty simple. How about dress up as the people you hate and bomb your own people. In 1946, I believe, the King David bombing in Jerusalem was said that it killed 50, but it was actually 91 people, most of them Jewish people, and they something happened. And their plans didn't quite work out. They got caught, and they at first thought that it was Egyptians. They thought it was Arabs or whatever, Arabians. And when they were confronted, they were, checked out. They were wearing costumes, and it was the Jews. It was the Israeli Irgun. False flag. They were pretending to be somebody else so they could garner compassion and sympathy from the world. Yeah, we got attacked. Our people died. And they're the damn ones. They're the bastards doing it. And I'm so glad they got caught, because that really set the stage for later, And it's like, don't forget 1967, the attack on the USS Liberty. Now, this is like something that I haven't talked about yet, but yes, 1967, there was an attack on the USS Liberty. It was an American ship, Navy, and it was a radio ship. It was a radio, unarmed. And what happened? There was it was attacked. And it was attacked by planes that bombed the hell out of it. I mean, bombed it so bad that they were trying to sink it. I mean, trying to sink it. And there were the USS Liberty incident was an attack on the United States Navy technical research ship, the USS Liberty, by Israeli Air Force jet fighter aircraft and Israeli Navy motor torpedo boats on June 8th, 1967, during the Six-Day War. The Six-Day War is when Israel... the United Nations happens to say that is when Israel illegally took much of the land that they claim is theirs today. Illegally. Yeah. Just because you say, this land is my land because God said it, okay. Put God on the phone, or let's have a meeting with God, and let's find out who He is, and by what authority that. I mean, He got to show me a deed to that land, before he can tell you it's yours, right? Okay, whatever. Anyway, the combined air and sea attack killed 34 crew members, naval officers, seamen, 2 Marines, and 1 civilian, wounded 171 crew members, and severely damaged the ship. At the time, the ship was in international waters north of the Sinai Peninsula, about 25.5 nautical miles northwest from the Egyptian city of Arish. The damage was so bad that it basically barely made it back. It was just, they were dropping, they were bombing it with like 500-pound bombs. I mean, it was like they wanted to sink it so bad, and I'm so glad that it did not sink. But it barely made it back, and if you want to look that up, look it up, and you'll see the damage it took. Okay, and that's Israel. Israel. The captain was Iftach Spector. Commander was Moshe Oren, as far as Israel, and the commander of the USS Liberty was William L. McDonald. The attack was two Mirage 3s, 2 Mystere 4s planes, and 3 motor torpedo boats against 1 technical research ship, unarmed. The casualties and life lost of Israel, 0. As far as the United States, as far as the American ship, 34 killed, 171 wounded, 1 civilian killed, and 1 ship heavily damaged. Israel apologized for the attack, saying the USS Liberty had been attacked in error after being mistaken for an Egyptian ship. Both Israeli and U.S. governments conducted inquiries and issued reports that concluded the attack was a mistake due to Israeli confusion about the ship's identity. Others, including survivors of the attack, have rejected these conclusions and maintained the attack was deliberate. Well, I guess so. Again, it was a technical research ship. It was able to send radio messages, and it was saying this is a United States ship, and they knew it. Didn't matter. I just added to it. They called for backup, so to speak, because the damn thing wouldn't sink. And they had to have more power. And they tried and tried and tried their best, and it just would not sink. Led to the death of, or the murder, really, 34 people, sailors, 171 wounded. If anyone else did that, and by the way, Lyndon Johnson, believed that it was, in fact, that the Egyptians had attacked the ship, and he was minutes away from ordering a strike on Egypt, believe it or not. Like bombing Egypt, which would have started a huge war, but yeah, basically annihilating Egypt. And at the last minute, he found out the truth that it was Israel, and he didn't bomb Egypt. He was damn sure going to. My question is when he found out it was Israel, why didn't he just bomb Israel like he was going to bomb Egypt? What's going on there? What's the dynamics of that? When you have those that are in charge of that United States ship, and they're telling telling the president of the United States, hey, we told them who we were, and it didn't matter. It just made it worse. They wanted to sink us. They killed our crewmates. I mean, nope. Because it was Israel, no, we're not going to do a damn thing. So, but if it had been Egypt, it'd been a whole different story, which really sucks. Like I said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I believe in equality. No matter who you are, no matter what nation you're from, it doesn't matter. You bomb a ship and with an air attack, and they're telling you that, yeah, it's an American ship. What do? You call in torpedo boats. If you can't take them by air, well, you'll take them by torpedo. Yeah. And that just does not fly. So another false flag attack. They were pretending to be Egyptian. They were wanting they were wanting the United States to believe that it was Egypt so they could expand Israel. And that's what they want to do. They want to expand. They want to expand into Syria, which they already have to a certain extent, the Golan Heights right now. They want to expand into Iraq, and the last one standing, Iran. But they're not going to stop there. They want to expand the globe. There again, the New World Order is not a conspiracy theory. It is a fact. And that is their goal. They want to dominate the world. Now, the Rabbi Mendel Schneerson, who died in 1994, was the leader, the highly esteemed leader of the Chabad Lubavitch Hasidic Doomsday sect of Judaism, as it's been called. And many of the so-called Jewish people, they believe that Rabbi Schneerson was the Messiah himself, because he just had this aura about him, this power over people, and he was just like a little guy, and but he was very powerful. Matter of fact, he confronted Benjamin Netanyahu back in the late 80s. Confronted him. He went to Jerusalem. Now, this man lived in Brooklyn, New York, but he went to Jerusalem and he confronted Benjamin Netanyahu. What did he confront him about? He says, what are you doing to hasten the coming of the Messiah? And Netanyahu says something like, well, I'm working on it, Netanyahu doesn't answer to many, many. I mean, it's like, you just don't question Netanyahu. You don't ask him what he's been doing. But this Rabbi Schneerson was basically coming down on Netanyahu, like, what have you been doing? You've been sitting on your ass doing nothing, right? Because the Messiah, he says, it's been many days, talking about years, and he says, and he's still not here. He still hasn't arrived. And he says, work harder while it's still today, while there's still time. And he says, I will, Okay. Now this Rabbi Schneerson, he actually calls for the best of the Gentiles should be killed. He was held as the Messiah, and he died in 1994. Okay. He was the leader, the highly esteemed leader since the 40s, since 1940s, of the Chabad Lubavitch Hasidic movement. And this is the sect, the Doomsday sect, that believes that if they can ignite World War III, that they will bring the Messiah back. The Messiah will have to come back. The only thing troubling about that is that the very people that are part of this sect, that are Talmudic Jews, they follow the Talmud to a T. I mean, it is the Talmud is their it's more sacred to them than the Torah, the first 5 books of Moses. Quotes from the Jewish Talmud. And when I say Jewish, I'm talking about the Khazarian Jews. Those who say they're Jews, but they're not. Jesus in the book of Revelation said there are those who call themselves, who say they're Jews, but they're not. They're the synagogue of Satan. And that's the truth. Whether or not you believe in Satan, whether or not you believe in the devil, whether or not you believe in, whatever, it doesn't matter. What does matter, the truth is the system, the world system they're going to set up, that they're setting up right now, it is what you can call it what you will, but it is a satanic, it is a devilish, it is an evil system, a beast system, just like in the book of Revelation. And I have to say I was shocked when I read about the Noahide laws, and the punishment for breaking any one of those Noahide laws is decapitation. Your head chopped off from your body. But that only applies to you, not them, not their kind. They can do what they want, basically, because they're superior. They even go so far in the Talmud as to say that they weren't created by God. They're the ones that created God. Collectively, they are God. And you know what? If that's the case, book me a room in hell, because I don't want to go to your heaven. Yeah. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Yeah. Just go ahead and book me a room in hell, because I would rather be there than to be in your heaven. Quotes from the Jewish Talmud. Number 1, Sanhedrin 59a, murdering goyim. Murdering non-Jews is like killing wild animals. Number 2, Abodai Zera Zoab 26b, even the best of the Gentiles should be killed. Number 3, a Gentile who pries into the law. Now get this, a Gentile who pries into the law, the Talmud, is guilty and should be put to death. Why is that? Because they don't want their secrets, their rabid, repugnant, revolting, sickening, twisted, perverted teachings. They don't want the world to know. They don't want you to know that they want your children to curse you. They want your children to look at you as being completely weak and powerless and worthless. And they want to destroy you. Your death or your servitude, your complete servitude to them, or your death is what they want. Yeah. So they rule by deception, by division, by deception, and then division. They light the fuse, and they sit back and watch people destroy each other because of lies or acts blamed on a certain group that didn't do anything really, and they sit back and just let them destroy each other, and then they take the spoils. That's how it works. Yes. Divide and conquer. That's their game. Okay. Number 4. To communicate anything to a Gentile about our religious relations would be equal to the killing of all Jews. For if the Gentiles knew what we teach about them, they would kill us openly. You think? That's what you want to do to us. Secretly. While you're shaking our hand and you're hugging us and you're telling us, oh yeah, we're friends of, we stand with the United States. You don't stand with anybody. Just cut the bull. Really, I would rather you just say, hey, you know what? We hate your guts and you suck and we wish you were dead. That'd be a lot better than just, thinking that we're so ignorant that we're going to buy your BS. We're not. It's over. That time's over. And it doesn't matter that you have your little fat poodle John Hagee, and now his son, John Hagee's like 81 now, and he has been the spokesman for the Zionist Movement, just really rabid, doesn't give a damn about anybody else dying. Iranian doesn't matter, Palestinians doesn't matter, Iraqis doesn't matter, Afghanistan doesn't matter, as long as they are not his beloved Jewish people, fake Jews, then he's fine with it. Heck, he actually prays that God would guide the hands and steady the hands of the snipers and those dropping bombs and everything. It's like, John Hagee, man, you really bend over for Israel, don't you? Like, for the fake, for all this, man, you really bend over for the Zionists, don't you? For the Zionist movement. Man, yeah. You take it, buddy. The payoff must be really, really something. Anyway, number 5, if a Jew be called upon to explain any part of the rabbinic books, he ought to give only a false explanation. Whoever will violate this order shall be put to death. So, lie. Deception. Number 6, sexual intercourse with a little girl is permitted if she is 3 years of age. Yeah, and you wonder why all of this pedophilia in Hollywood and with, if you think about it, Harvey Weinstein, whatever. You have Woody Allen. You have Roman Polanski. He sodomized and raped that 13-year-old girl at Jack Nicholson's house, and he had to leave the country. And that was after his own wife, Sharon Tate, was murdered by the Manson family, and she was pregnant with Polanski's baby, Polanski's wife at the time. And, so there's a lot of that goes on because a lot of Hollywood, the actors, but really the directors, the producers, the ones that run Hollywood, and the ones that are the promoters, the owners, the promoters of the $30 billion a year pornography business. If you look it up and you really get into who runs what, you'll find out that it's almost all, if not absolutely 100% of it, is run by these so-called Jews, these Khazarian Jews that aren't Jews. They use that so when people find out how evil they are, how heartless they are, and how racist they are, well, they turn it back on you. Well, you're anti-Semitic. And you know that now in the United States, last time I checked, in 26 or 27 states, it is now a crime to criticize or speak or boycott Israel. It's a crime. And you have to ask yourself, okay, land of the free and home of the brave? Land of the free? Are you kidding me? Is this the United States of America or is this the United States of Israel? That's my question. And imagine, I know that this show isn't large. I wish it was. But imagine what they think about what I'm saying. Right's right and wrong's wrong. And I'll speak against wrong till hell freezes over and you can watch me skate on the ice with a big smile on my face. Because right will always be right, wrong will always be wrong, truth will always be truth, and lies will always be lies. So, I'll do it till hell freezes over and gladly skate on the ice. All right. 7. Jews may swear falsely in any court of law by using deceptive wording. Now think about that. Number 8, do not save Gentiles in danger of death or those who are dying. So, if you're hanging on to a cliff and they have a rope, they're actually forbidden to throw your rope. Or if you're drowning, yeah, you're going to see that boat, you're going to see that ship sail away from you. And these are the people that your religious leaders, John Hagee, Kenneth Copeland, Pat Robertson, Joel Osteen, they're rubbing elbow and they're kissing their ass. God, John Hagee is just, he's got his face buried in Israel's ass. I mean, really, it's pathetic. And just, why? Why is that? Well, maybe because he has an 8,000 acre ranch with like 5 different lodges on it, and his salary is something like down near $1 million a year, or close to it, or $500,000, and he lives in a he and his wife live in a I forget the square footage, but it's like an ungodly amount of square footage in this mansion in one of the most the nicest gated communities in San Antonio, and it's just it's really, maybe that's why. Maybe they pay him to be their spokesman. I don't know, but show no mercy to the goyim, to the Gentiles. 10. It can be proven that someone has given money of Israelites to the goyim. A way must be found after prudent consideration to wipe him off the face of the earth. 11. A Jew may keep anything he finds which belongs to the Gentile. For he who returns lost property to Gentiles sins against the law by increasing the power of transgressors of the law. It is praiseworthy, however, to return lost property if it is done to honor the name of God, namely, if by so doing Christians will praise the Jews and look upon them as honorable people. That's telling you right there. In their own opinion, they know they're sorry. They know they're rat bastards. I said that. I mean, anybody that would do things like this and follow teachings like this, yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Not at all. And then a Jew should and must make a false oath when a Gentile asks if our books contain anything against them. The Jews are human beings, but the nations of the world are not human beings, but beasts. When the Messiah comes, every Jew will have 2,800 slaves. It says, Jehovah created the non-Jew in human form so that the Jew would not have to be served by beasts. A non-Jew is consequently an animal in human form and condemned to hell. So that's just some of what the Talmud teaches. Also, for you Christians out there that are saying, okay, this guy is crazy, he's, blah, blah, blah. He's just, he's against the beloved Israel, and we, what does the Talmud, the chief authority of Talmudic Judaism, Chabad Lubavitch, Hasidic Judaism, have to say about Jesus Christ? Well, it says, the Sanhedrin, Article 105A and B, says Jesus fornicated with his jackass. Yeah, that's what it says. That's what they believe. That Jesus had sex with his donkey. And they laugh about it. And they say publicly that they wish that Jesus would return so they could crucify him all over again. Yeah. So you Zionists that, oh yeah, you want us, you're for Israel and all that. This is what you're for. So don't tell me that you're a Christian Zionist. No, what you are is you are deceived, or you're without knowledge, which is you're ignorant of truth. There's no such thing as a Christian Zionist. You're either a Christian or you're a Zionist. You're either for truth or you are for lies. You're either for good or you are for evil. And you have been led to believe, yes, it is pure evil. And what is really evil about it is everybody talks about how rabid and how evil the Quran is. Well, I'm not saying that there are certain parts of the militant Islam that they take that in certain ways. And yes, I'm against that too. Am I against Muslims? No. Am I against the Jewish people? No. Am I against the Khazarians? No. I am against evil. I'm against those who harm and hurt and mistreat and oppress other people. I don't care. I don't hate anyone because of their nationality, because of their belief system, or what I hate those that use and abuse and take advantage of others. I don't care what you are, what your belief system is, that's not who you are. So, but I cannot stand that the bully mentality and the superiority. It says in 57a Gittin in the Talmud, Jewish priest raised Jesus from the dead and punished him in boiling hot semen. Yeah, that's pretty hard to take. But this is what they believe. This is what they teach. This is what they laugh about. And I just want to say that when John Hagee was in Jerusalem, when he was in Israel, when he was called on by President Trump to give the benediction at the when President Trump made Jerusalem the eternal city of Israel, John Hagee gets up and he's prays and gives his benediction, at that time, there was a depiction. It was an art. Was a work of art, is what they called it, and it was Jesus on a cross. That was I think it was in the middle of the McDonald's logo, and Jesus was wearing clown makeup or something like that, and it was just very, very degrading. And there were people that were laughing about it and everything, and they were telling John Hagee, yeah, look at the one you serve. Look at the one you serve. He's a clown. He's, he ate too much McDonald's or whatever, something like that. What John Hagee do? Oh, nothing. He doesn't say anything. He, why? Well, because Netanyahu would bitch slap him probably, tell him to shut his mouth. I'm serious, yeah. So, yeah, he talks a good talk, but yeah, he was over there and it was taking place right in front of him, and he's all the time talking about, boy, you need to take a stand for Israel. You need to take a stand for the Lord Jesus Christ. Did you take a stand? When they were laughing their asses off, making fun of the very one you preach about and teach about, that empowers you, and everyone should speak boldly. What'd you do? You didn't open your damn mouth, because you knew what would happen. You knew they would stomp your ass, and they literally would have. All the while, you're kissing theirs. Yeah. There's a word for that. It's called betrayal. And, Judas. Yeah. That's what you are. And that's what everyone like you. Yeah. I'm going to give a damn if you betray me, because I don't trust you anyway. But you're betraying truth, is what you're doing. You're betraying those who trust you, who you've lied to, and you've pretended to be something you're not, and that really disturbs me. So, anyway. It also says in Sanhedrin 106a in the Talmud, she who is the descendant of princes and governors, the Virgin Mary, played the whore with a carpenter. Sanhedrin 52b says, Jesus was lowered into a pit of dung up to his armpits. Then a hard cloth was placed within a soft one, wound around his neck, and the two ends pulled in opposite directions until he was dead. That's the kind of crap. That's the kind of sacred teachings that they teach and they believe. That's it. And a hell of a lot more. The Talmud teaches Jews to look down on Gentiles as inferior to them. Do not believe them when they tell you that Judaism does not teach contempt for the Gentiles. They're lying. It is the most racist, hate-mongering, blasphemous book the world has ever known. And that is the truth. The Israeli leader Rabbi Obadiah Yosef, in his weekly Saturday night sermon, said that non-Jews exist to serve Jews. He says, goyim, Gentiles, were born only to serve us. Without that, they have no place in the world, only to serve the people of Israel. And then that was said on October 18th, 2010. If any other group said anything like that, what do you think would happen? They would be put on a watch list. What if an Iranian leader said something like this back in, say like the year 2000? What do you think would happen? Oh man, it would not fly at all. Yeah, you'd be looking at a blank spot on the map right now. But because it's Israel, oh, it's fine. Yeah, just look the other way. Say what? Oh, I didn't hear that. And guess what? Some of us do. Some of us are listening. Some of us aren't afraid to say, yeah, we heard what you said. We know what you believe. We know what you teach. And you preach. And it's hatred. It's racism. And trust me, I mean, it is very, it is really shocking when you consider. The truth is that these quote unquote righteous Gentiles are the Zionists, and there's a lot of them. If you look up AIPAC and CUFI, Christians United for Israel, they have donated millions of dollars to the Zionist movement. And the Zionism is not a religious or even spiritual movement. It is a political movement. And people say, oh, well, yeah, I've got to do my part, It's a political movement. What does that mean? It means it's benefiting it's lining someone's pockets. Money, money, money. Power, power, power. They don't give a damn about spirituality. They don't give a damn who goes to heaven or hell. Matter of fact, you're already going to hell as far as they're concerned. We'll see about that. Like I said, I would rather, book a room in hell than to go to their heaven or whatever. So, but see, Nazarene, you say some so-called Muslim extremists have misinterpreted certain verses of the Quran and have twisted the meaning to use it to justify their awful acts. Absolutely. And that's what I'm against. I'm not against Muslims. I'm not against anyone of any belief system, as long as they don't do just that, twist their use their scripture or their text or their beliefs to harm or kill or mistreat others. Or what I really can't stand is when they say, okay, you have to accept truth. What truth? Oh, what you determine is truth. Yeah. Well, guess what? That's just it's not gonna happen. Yeah. I've got this condition, kind of like Leonidas did in the movie 300, when the King Xerxes told him to, he would have to bow before him. He says, well, I've got this condition in my knee, and it prevents me from kneeling, so you're going to have to come up with something else. Yeah, I've got that same condition, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bend. I'm not going to bow to anybody. Not Israeli, Jewish, not even if an angel appeared to me right now from heaven and said, I am, hell, I don't know. My name is Bub. I'm Bub the angel, you know. Kneel before me. I'd be like, you first. No, it's not going to happen. But it's really unsettling when you read throughout history and the truth you know will set you free. The truth you know, the truth you understand. And it's like Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth. Well, guess what? Handle it. Learn how to handle it. You can handle it. And you have to. You have to accept what's going on. And what's going on is the greatest deception or the greatest control. The greatest control on a scale, on an unimaginable scale, requires what? Deception that is so unimaginable and so believable, so powerful, that it is used to enslave and control the entire world and everyone in it. And those that don't buy it, well, I have seen here in Texas, I have seen those trucks, those flatbed trucks with, I'm talking 18-wheelers, you know, pulling those burial containers. People say they're caskets. They're not caskets. I was a funeral director and embalmer for 20 years. They are outside burial containers. That's what a casket goes into. However, they seal, you know, they lock like an airtight seal, and they're not going to break down, you know, the body's not going to, you know, like fluids and things like that are not going to leak into the ground or whatever, for the most part. But I have seen trucks with those stacked, like hundreds, here in Texas, going down the interstate. I've also seen, I don't know what they were, but some kind of, they were hauling something, and but it was covered. It was covered very, very well. Now, when I have heard in the past people talk about seeing guillotines at some of these, you know, military bases or detainment centers or whatever, I'm thinking, guillotines? That's what in the world, you know? I mean, are you? That's pretty far out. But then it becomes feasible when you read the Talmud and it says that the Chabad Lubavitch movement says that breaking any of the 7 Noahide laws is punishable by decapitation. Well, how do you decapitate someone? With a guillotine. You know, really, I mean, that's the best way, not to be graphic, but you take somebody with a sword and that's not a clean cut, you know. I mean, you know, you might not get the correct angle, and you know, whoa, that's a hell of a sight. With a guillotine, that's razor sharp, and when it falls, the head leaves the body. I mean, it's just, you know, like hot butter. So could it be that that's what they were hauling? Like I said, it was covered up, but there was a lot of them, and it was a huge load. And I've seen that several times. They're always covered. Why would you cover it? Why would you cover it with such huge, thick, heavy tarps? And I'm talking. It was like they were using probably like 5,000-pound straps, ratchet straps that so thick, man. These things are not going to fall off the truck. That's all they need is to have, like, okay, on tonight's news, 600 guillotines flew off of a bridge and had to be recovered by a United States contractor. And why? Oh, well, we plan to cut your damn head off because we're setting up the New World Order right now. It's no longer theory. It's no longer conspiracy or theory. It's fact. So, you know, they cut my head off, I'll tie it back on and go back after them. So, hey, you know, you have to laugh about it, because if you don't, well, you go crazy. Anyway, the righteous Gentiles for Jews, who promote Jews and their agenda. The Zionists, those who know and are for the, who know what these people do. They know what they believe. They know the atrocities that they commit. And I'll say this because we're right at 2 hours, so I'll say this in closing. Rabbi Mendel Schneerson, the leader of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, his birthday, it's in March, I believe. I believe it's March 20th or something like that. 1902. There was a law, there was a bill that was signed into law in 1991 on September, I'm sorry, that was signed into law in 1991, and it was called the Education Day Bill. Okay, well, everybody thought, okay, well, Education Day is about, like, American children, like, you know, learning, you know, education. They're being taught, you know, they're being, you know, wrong. What was in that bill was the enactment of the 7 Noahide laws that little Yoda-looking Rabbi Mendel Schneerson had foamed at the mouth for 60 years, or, you know, 50 plus years, his entire life, to have these laws passed globally, especially in the United States. Well, you have George H.W. Bush, and he signs the damn thing with all these rabbis around him. But before that, you had Ronald Reagan that openly said these laws are the basis of civilization and its continuance. They were given by Noah. No, they were not. Good grief. They are man-made. They're made by these idiots, these extremists, these who want to force all these things. You know, they want to be the. Thank you, Nazreen. They want to be God. They want to direct your life. They want to be in charge of what you do of what you say, of every aspect of your life, and your children's life, and their children's life. It's, you don't have the freedom to speak. You don't have the freedom to believe what you want to believe. You don't have the freedom to be intimate with your wife how you want to be. You have to abide by what they say is proper. Yeah. And these people know that. These leaders that were, they were so-called elected, no, they were selected. Why were they selected? Because they could be counted on to be for these people, for these bullies, for these for the ones that rule the world, and that's the truth. Now the Jesuits and the fraternal orders, they have their place, but ultimately, every secret society, every group like the Jesuits, every political group, the Club of Rome, the Trilateral Group, the Bilderbergers, yeah, they all answer to, quote unquote, the Khazarian Jews, aka modern day Israel, which is nothing but a lie. These political and religious world leaders, including U.S. Presidents Jimmy Carter, Vice President Walter Mondale, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Vice President Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld. I don't know about Barack Obama. I just know that Netanyahu could not stand Barack Obama. Now, I don't know, and I'll admit that. I need to do more, look into that much more, but so I just want to let you know that. But his Vice President, Joe Biden, is an avid Zionist, and he's admitted to being such. He even said, you don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist, and that's true. You just have to be an ass kisser, and I'm sorry. You just have to brown nose and serve them to be a Zionist. Yes, I would rather floss my teeth with rusty barbed wire. Donald Trump, Vice President Mike Pence. Most unsettling of all is President Trump's chief advisor and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who is a very, very devout Chabad, Lubavitch, Hasidic Jew. Very devout. And he is married to President Trump's daughter, Ivana Trump Kushner, who renounced her belief system, which I believe was Christianity, and accepted Chabad Lubavitch Judaism, and legally changed her name to Yoel. The Chabad-Lubavitch Hasidic sect of Judaism strictly follows the teachings of the Talmud, made up of the most rabid, racist, revolting, repugnant. It's the most repugnant book in history. Jared and Yoel actually, Kushner, are avid Zionists and strict followers of the Chabad-Lubavitch Hasidic Talmudic Judaism. So much so that on the eve of the presidential election, that Jared Kushner and his wife, Ivanka, went to Rabbi Schneerson's grave in Brooklyn, to his grave, and prayed at his grave. They prayed to a dead rabbi that Trump would win, and he won, and they attributed that to Rabbi Schneerson. So just think about that. Think about that, and think about how who was appointed to work out the Middle East peace plan between Israel and the Palestinians? Jared Kushner. Hello. Can you say conflict of interest? Can you say total insanity? He's Chabad-Lubavitch. I mean, he's a Chabad-Lubavitcher Talmudic Jew. You know, Khazarian. And he's going to broker a peace deal with the Palestinian leadership. Palestinians know what he is. They know what he believes. They know. And I mean, look at the guy. I mean, look online in like 2015. I'm serious. Look online at his pictures when in 2015, and he looks like a schoolboy. Just, you know, baby face and everything. But then you look at him when 2016, when Trump, you know, took office, and he looks like friggin' Damien Thorne from the Damien movies. You know, it's like, dude, could you look any more evil? I mean, like menacing. I mean, he literally went from looking like Leave It to Beaver to damn Damien, you know, all grown up. I mean, man, it's just creepy. And the guy has no experience, no political experience, no negotiation, nothing. And Trump appoints him to do something that no one has been able to do in history, is create, you know, a peace plan between the Palestinians and the Israelis. Well, obviously so, for some reason. And yeah, that's his, that's what he's working on. And I don't know, I've been told that it wasn't going so well, and so I didn't expect it to be easy, but it wouldn't surprise me if he does it. And if he does, then that changes the whole game. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, you have of course, John Hagee, and he's the founder of Cornerstone Church in San Antonio, and the founder of Christians United for Israel, Kufi. His son, Matthew Hagee, is the lead pastor of Cornerstone Church. It's a mega church. You have Kenneth Copeland, founder and televangelist of Kenneth Copeland Ministries in Newark, near Fort Worth, Texas. He's the first billionaire televangelist. have Joel Osteen, pastor of Lakeview Church in Houston, Texas, the largest megachurch in the United States. Benny Hinn, televangelist. You know, it's really, really, it doesn't make Texas look good that all these people are from Texas. So please just know that I am not one of these Zionists. Well, you should know because I don't have the money and I don't have the followers. So that should tell you right there that I'm an honest Abe. It's like I tell people, I don't want your money. I don't want anything. I just want to share truth and hopefully empower people and get people on the, to know what's going on, and the truth they know will set them free. I mean, you won't be deceived. So Paula White, who happens to be President Trump's, I believe she's like his number one spiritual advisor. If that's so, he probably feels the fires of hell even right now. I'm just saying. Pat Robertson, televangelist and founder of the 700 Club. Gordon Robertson, televangelist and son of Pat Robertson. Okay, do you see a pattern here? You have John Hagee, okay, pastor of this megachurch. Okay, well, he starts getting old, and, well, he has a son. And it's just, whoa, God said, well, I'm calling your son to be pastor of the church. Well, Joel Osteen's dad, John Osteen, was pastor of Lakewood Church. And John dies. And Joel Osteen has never been to seminary, never been to Bible college, never even, well, he even said that his knowledge of Scripture was limited. But lo and behold, something happens and God calls him to be pastor of the church. Yeah. I don't think so. I think what happens in these cases is, like John Hagee. John Hagee is pastor, yes, and founder and senior pastor, and he answers to there is a board that governs everything, but the board consists of his immediate family, his wife Diana, his son Matthew, and his daughters, and it was his two brothers back years ago. Okay, that's pretty telling. Okay, but then you have let's see, you've got Joel Osteen. Okay, same thing. His mother, Dodie, when his father died, his mother, she just, I think that she said, okay, we're not losing this. We're going to stay in charge. So, Joel, you're going to have to step up. This is, probably said, I don't know anything about it. You're stepping up whether you want to or not. And you could tell some of the interviews he did and everything, he did not talk about anything scriptural. And when he did, he misquoted things, misquoted scripture, talked about Noah, but was using the name Moses, and when asked certain tenets of the Christian faith, he could not answer them, and Larry King had to school him publicly on it. And yeah, so that's pretty sad. I mean, but his Joel Osteen's sisters, his mother, it's family. They're the ones in charge. Pat Robertson, yeah, Well, lo and behold, he starts getting old. Whoa! God calls his son Gordon to, join the ministry. That is not, it's not so much God as it is, let's keep it in the family. Let's keep some money in the family. Same thing with that idiot Joyce Myers, or whatever her name is. And the likes of her. Anyway, radio and TV talk show host Alex Jones. Oh man, Chabad Lubavitch. He claims to be a Christian and American and everything. No. Yeah, conspiratorial radio talk show host. Yeah, Alex Jones, you're a joke. And I can't even listen to the guy. I can't even listen to him. I have seen videos of him dancing with Chabad Lubavitch Talmudic Jews, and he's laughing with them and everything. What's he laughing at? Probably how everybody's buying that, they're the victims and, they're not doing anything wrong while they've got the blood of innocent people all over their hands, and I just can't stand the guy. Rush Limbaugh, Bill Mayer, Stephen Colbert, Steven Spielberg, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Larry Ellison, and then you have, now these are Zionist Talmudic Jews, okay? Now, keep in mind, they promote and they talk about pedophilia. You have Jeffrey Epstein, a billionaire pedophile. You have Ghislaine Maxwell, also a Jewish. Her dad was Robert Maxwell, the British magnate, businessman. But his name really wasn't Robert Maxwell. He was Jewish. And a lot of them changed their names so they can infiltrate the quote-unquote Gentile world and own it, rule it. Okay. Harvey Weinstein, Roman Polanski, Woody Allen, Kevin Spacey, Sammy Davis Jr. was a Jew. He was also a member of the Church of Satan. Anton LaVey, Jew, Talmudic Jew, the founder of the Church of Satan. And the list goes on and on and on. So you wonder about the pedophilia. You wonder about these rites like the Bohemian Grove, where they have mock sacrifices to the god Molech. That is a Canaanite god, Molech. Whether it's Molech, Moloch, Milcom, doesn't matter. This is, there are people that say, well, they serve Lucifer, or they serve Satan, or they serve Molech, or, this or that. Let me share something with you. It is not, the name is really irrelevant. Because the truth is, look up the God of 1,000 names, and you'll see how every one of these names, there may be 1,000 names, and there are, but there's only one power. Now, people that say Lucifer, well, they're Luciferians. They worship Lucifer. Lucifer, Lucifer, Lucifer. Okay, just, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm not being condescending. I'm really trying to help people, and hopefully this will help you. Lucifer is not a name. Okay? In the Old Testament, the word Hallel, Heyel, was mistranslated by Jerome as Lucifer. And Lucifer is from the words loose, fair, which means light bringer. You know, it is not a name. It is not a proper name. It is a mistranslation. Okay? Now, so later on, after that Bible, which was the Vulgate, was around a long time. Okay, well, when it was printed and everything, and Jerome knew, the translator knew that he was wrong, he had mistranslated it. Did he correct it? No, he left it. He left it. And that's why people, they read it today and they believe that, whoa, yes, its name is Lucifer. No. People, please, 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 before you start, you know, like if you were on a show, or, you know, like some of these, you know, quote unquote, you know, Christians like Kirk Cameron and Ray Comfort, they challenged these Satanists, these self-admitted Satanists, to debate them on the Bible on live TV, and they said, yeah, okay, we'll do it. And I said, oh man, I've got to watch this, because Kirk Cameron, growing pains, you know, Kirk Cameron and Ray Comfort they're going to get slammed. And you know what? They did. And they admitted it. They said, whoa, we were not expecting that. Not expecting what? These so-called Satanists, yes, you know, they admitted, you know, yeah, we're Satanists. But Ray Comfort, Kirk Cameron took that to mean that they were ignorant. And they were anything but. The ones that were ignorant were Kirk Cameron and Ray Comfort, and they admitted it. That, man, they were really, they had no idea how blind they were, how clouded that their, you know, spiritual knowledge was. I mean, they got owned. So it's like when you speak of this force, or this power, or this, you know, demon or spiritual entity or whatever, as Lucifer, you are automatically making yourself, you're putting yourself in a tremendous disadvantage, because when people that are knowledgeable about it, when they hear you say that as a name, use that Lucifer as a name, as a proper name, they automatically say, okay, they have no idea. Okay, so I'm not going to listen to them. So just to clear that up, and so that won't happen to you. Please understand that Lucifer is not a proper name. Now, the name that was used in the Hebrew, again, it is Heyel, and there are varying guesses on the definition of what that really means, but I'm not going to go out on a limb and say anything. I'm just going to say, look it up. You decide for yourself. I mean, there's a lot of different theories, a lot of different ideas. So, but yes. Matter of fact, in the book of Revelation, Jesus, in the last chapter of Revelation, what does Jesus say? He says, in Isaiah, where the word Lucifer is used as a proper name, it means morning star. Okay, Lucifer is Latin for the planet Venus. The morning star, Venus rises like 8 minutes before the sun every morning. It's the morning star. It's the day star. Okay? Jesus in the book of Revelation, he says, for I am the bright and morning star. What's he saying? What is he saying if it was in Hebrew? I am Lucifer. And people are like, oh man, whoa, so that's it. Jesus is Lucifer. Lucifer is not a proper name. We're not talking about a being. We're not talking about an entity. We're not talking about a demon. We are not talking about the devil. We're not talking about Satan. We are talking about the light bringer. Okay. Hello? I'm lost. Can you shed some light on this for me? Light bringer. The bringer of knowledge. Spiritual knowledge. That's the light bringer. It is not a proper name. So, of course, Jesus says, I'm the bright and morning star. Translated, I'm Lucifer. Luce, L-U-C-E, fur, F-E-R-R-E, Lucifer, light bringer, not a proper name. Jesus is not saying, I am Satan, I am the devil, I am evil, ha ha ha. It's the last chapter of the Bible, and I'm letting you know that, no. Translator is always a liar. And let me tell you, there's a lot of mistranslations in the Bible. And people take it the wrong way. And that's one of the biggest mistranslations that has caused more problems and more people to just really completely take everything and just run with it. Lucifer means light bringer. Look it up. Look up the Latin. Look up the Hebrew and Greek, and you'll see for yourself. It is 2 words. It is not 1 word, and it's damn sure not a name. So please don't take it that I know it all, because I don't know it all. There's so much I don't know, but I do know that, and hopefully that will help you. And thank you for listening to that little tirade or whatever. But anyway, so I have explained what the Talmud teaches, what they believe, and how they are very, very passionate and very, very determined, and their mission is failure's not an option. And I find it very interesting that I don't believe everything I read, and I don't believe everything I'm told. I want to weigh things. I want proof. Just because it's written in the Bible does not make it so. Now, what makes it so is when it's backed up, when something backs it up. And I have to say that the longest time, back when I was younger and without any knowledge at all, I thought I had it, but I didn't. I thought that the system of that the world system of the beast or whatever would be, Satanism with upside down crosses and goats' heads everywhere, and all that. I never imagined that it would be Judaism, but the definition of Judaism is against Christ. And I've read to you from the Talmud, their most sacred book, their most sacred text, that what they say, what they think about Jesus, who, by the way, was against them because the Talmudic Jews are the modern day Pharisees, the religious leaders of that day that made sure Jesus was executed. Why? Because he told them, he says, "You're of your father, the devil." They said, "Well, we have our father Abraham." And he says, "No, if Abraham was your father," he says, you would know that I'm telling you the truth. He says, "Abraham's not your father. Your father's the devil." And they're like, "Whoa, did he just say what I think he said?" And Jesus was like, "Yes, I did." He drew a line in the sand and he said, "Yeah." He said, "You are taking advantage of these people to line your own pockets." He says, "You're lying." He says, "You're putting rules and regulations on them that they can't carry. They can't keep. And that's how you control them. That's how you manipulate them. That's how you use them." Because they asked him, they said, "By what authority are you teaching this teaching?" You have to ask yourself, what was he teaching? He was telling them the truth. He was telling them, yeah, it's a big scam. You're being lied to. You're being led to the slaughter and you don't even know it. What did he say about it? They love the best seats. They love wearing the best clothes. They love being the center of attention. They love the accolades and the money. They didn't like it. And Jesus said, okay, he said, he says, basically, you know who I am. You know I'm telling the truth. You know that I'm speaking truth. He says, but you can't accept it. He says, because you can't. He says, because you are, he says, your father is the father of lies. And when he speaks his native language. He said, the truth is not in him. Now, was he talking about like a literal devil? Was he talking about a literal entity? I don't know. Was he talking about a force? Yes. A negative force. And people get caught up, well, was he talking about Satan? Was he talking about the devil? It doesn't matter. Whatever he was talking about, whether it be an entity, a power, or whatever, it's evil. It's bad. It's negative. It's not in your best interest. Matter of fact, it is your destruction. And Jesus told him, he said, they said something like, so you're saying that we're lost, that we're doomed. And he said, basically, you're already in hell. He says, because you follow the traditions of men. He says, and by doing that, you reject truth. What is this Talmudic Judaism? What is it? Do you know that the law, the first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah, the 10 Commandments, were supposedly given to Moses on Mount Sinai? But that's not all. Moses was also given, it's been said, the oral law that was never written down until later. And that oral law, it was never written down. It was only shared verbally. It was never written down because it was so powerful that it had to be kept secret. And when you see a lot of the symbols in the world today, the logos and everything, you are seeing that oral teaching, and it is called Kabbalah. Not the Madonna, Britney Spears, Barbie doll Kabbalah. I'm talking about the real Kabbalah, the real power, and it is not it's not meant for the masses, and it's basically what they call Jewish magic. What is magic? It is manipulation. It is it's nothing more than the power of the mind, whether it be the power of suggestion or a myriad of things, but it is powerful. It's been said that the Talmud was also part of that oral tradition, or something like that, or close to it. Basically, the same core, teaching or whatever. Okay, that was the Kabbalah was the oral tradition. The Talmud did not come until later, when the Israelites were taken into captivity in Babylon. That's why that the Talmud is often called the Babylonian Talmud. And there's a Jewish Talmud, there's a Babylonian Talmud. To be honest with you, I don't know where the distinction is because of the massive deception that is used when explaining anything that has to do with these people. They always employ lies and more lies, and so I'm not going to believe anything that they say about the Talmud, because in the Talmud itself it says, if you speak the truth of what's written in the Talmud to a Gentile, you shall be put to death. So you think they're going to tell you their secrets? No, they're not going to. Okay. What that is man-made rules. Man-made. Now, you will not read anything like that in, say, the Ten Commandments, correct? You don't read about having sex with 3-year-old girls. You don't read about having sex with little boys. You don't read about having sex with animals or eating animals while they're alive, ripping their limbs off. Okay. Jesus told the Pharisees, he says, you hold to the traditions of men. What's the traditions of men? It's what I've explained to you this whole time. And he says, because you are tied, you are attached to that. Because it gives you power in this world. Your spirit is already in hell. You are already doomed. You are sons of perdition. There's no hope for you. And they said, how do you know these things? You're not even 50 years old. Because in Judaism, before any rabbi can begin to even learn the first thing about Kabbalah or the deeper spiritual teachings, he must be at least 40 years old. He must be married. He must have children. And he must be upright and mentally stable and take care of his wife and his family. Now, what I just said is going to shock some of you, because he must be a rabbi. And to be a rabbi in Judaism, you had to have a wife, you had to have children, and you had to be of sound mind and take care of your family before you could begin to learn the deeper things, the deeper spiritual knowledge. And I'll leave you with this. What did they call Jesus? They call him Mr. Jesus. They called him Rabbi. Right? Rabboni. Mary called him Rabboni, Rabbi, teacher. Jesus was a rabbi. Judaism requires a rabbi be married. He has to have a wife. He has to have children. He has to be the head of his house, take care of his family, love his wife, love his children, and prove himself before he can be a rabbi, much less learn or be taught the deeper teachings. What am I saying? I'm asking a question. What if everything you have been taught is wrong? What if you've been purposefully led astray? What if you've been lied to so much that you see what's lies? You see what is completely false. Or, shall we say, a bit misconstrued, or very misconstrued, as truth. Please, if you will, I'm not trying to lead anybody astray. I'm not trying to convert anyone to believe anything. I'm just, the only thing that I wish and I hope that I've done tonight and that I continue to do is to free you, to free your mind from the prison of believing that you are going to be punished or you're going to be sent to hell if you question the official, quote-unquote, official narrative. You won't. Because any God, any celestial power, much less the Almighty God. Think about it. Do you think the Almighty God is going to be threatened or offended because you question him or it? Of course not. Why is that? Because being offended or being threatened is a human response. You know, that's not a response of an almighty, all-knowing, all-powerful God, is it? It's like, I'm going to ask you a question and then I'm going to answer it and then I'm going to close for sure tonight. I know that my grandmother, God bless her soul, she lived to be 90. She passed away in 2010, and she told me, she said, you were born, she said, I was there when you were born and your mouth was open and it hasn't closed since. And that's the truth. So, yes. Guilty as charged. Anyway, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to think about it, and I'm going to answer the question for you with truth. Have you ever done anything to disappoint God? Have you ever disappointed God? Those of you that believe in God, and I'm not asking that you do, I'm just saying those of you that believe in God, have you ever done anything to disappoint God? Anything to really, really disappoint him. Either or it or the source, the creator. Have you ever done anything to disappoint? And the answer is no one ever has. Not you, not anyone, and no one ever will. But what have you been taught? You've been taught that you have and you continue to do so. What is the definition of disappointment? It is doing something that someone did not expect. It's doing something other than what someone expected, or opposite of what someone expected, correct? Well, those of you that believe in God, you believe he is the almighty, all-knowing, all-present God, right? that he knows what you're going to do before you do it, correct? If that's true, then how could you disappoint someone or the Creator, the Almighty God, since he already knew and knows what you're going to do before you do? The answer is you can't, and you haven't, and you will not. But you are taught you do. Why? Because that's how you're controlled. And I believe that that is what Jesus was teaching the people. He's saying, don't believe the hype. He said, and they didn't like it. Because they couldn't control people if people didn't feel guilty. And people weren't controlled by carrying that burden that Jesus talked about. He says, you put burdens on them that they can't possibly carry. What's heavier than guilt? Pretty much nothing. And I've heard so many people say, well, I've gone to church and to feel better, and I left feeling worse. I'm like, don't worry. Yeah, that's the plan, Stan. Yes. Yeah. Why is it that you feel worse? Well, you have to come back, right? You have to come back, and you have to jump through hoops, and you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to you have to tithe, and you have to witness and all this. No. What did Jesus say? Only believe. The truth you know will set you free. And I love what I believe it really, that message really is. The truth you know will set you free, but first it's going to piss you off. Now that's just me, but that's the truth. It's going to piss you off. Why? Because you've been lied to. You have been deceived. But don't feel bad. We all have. It's part of it. What is important is not that you've been deceived, but that you are no longer deceived. That your eyes are open. The Apostle Paul says, "For I see through the glass darkly now," He says, but when at that time, he says, I will see as I am seen, meaning when my eyes are open to truth, I'm going to see clearly. When the scales fall, when the blinders are taken off, the truth you see, the truth you know, the truth you understand will not only set you free, but it will empower you. And that's what the world system, the leaders, they don't want, because that makes you just as powerful, if not more powerful than they are. And they can't have that. Anyway, that's it for tonight. If you want to contact me, you may contact me at thetexorcistpodcast@gmail.com. Please check out the group on Facebook, The Texorcist Live Podcast. And you can check out the website on www.radiopublic.com. The Texorcist Live, and I will type the website on here. But thank you, Nazreen, for taking part in the live chat. And thank you, those of you that listened and didn't take part in the live chat. That's fine. I appreciate you listening. Anyway, if you have any show ideas or maybe you want to share a personal experience or something that you've been through or something that you're knowledgeable in and that you want to share with others, please contact me and let's talk about it. And I would be glad to have you on the podcast. So anyway, please hit the like button on Spreaker or Apple Podcast or whatever, and follow me on Spreaker. I'd appreciate that. Anyway, love and light to you all. Love you all. Good night from Texas. See you next time.